Welcome to Orrcon Steel. We're at Orrcon Steel's Salisbury manufacturing operations mill in Queensland today to give you a 360-degree view of the process used to manufacture in-use steel tube products from a base coil. Orrcon Steel is Australia's leading manufacturer and distributor of steel tube and pipe products and employs over 700 people across the country. Their product range covers rectangular, square and circular cold form structural sections, hot form structural sections, merchant bar and a variety of fencing, roofing and building products. Come with me as I safely take you through the process in full 360 degrees, and don't forget to spin around. The first step in tube manufacturing is the slitting of the coil. Master coils, which are up to 2.1 meters in diameter and can weigh up to 28 tonne, are moved by crane to the uncoiler at the entry to the slitter. The coil is unwound into the slitter where steel blades cut the coil to different slit widths depending on product demand. After the slitting, the coil is rewound onto the recoiler, which pulls the strip through the blades at speeds of over 200 meters per minute. The galvanizing plant produces 4,000 tons of electro-galvanized product a month. The plant uses 1.5 tonne of zinc each day and can galvanize gauges from 1.6 through to 5.7 millimeters. Strip widths range from 240 up to 603 millimeters wide. This area is the most hazardous environment on the site, as a sulfuric acid solution is used to clean and take mill scale off the strip. The strip is run through 2 pickling tanks that contain a mixture of sulfuric acid and water. The strip passes through scrubbers after each tank to remove any mill scale. During the plating process, the plating solution carries a low voltage current which passes from the positively charged zinc baskets to the negatively charged steel strip. By adjusting the level of power going through the electrodes that run beside the strip, we can adjust the amount of galvanizing that occurs. This process is called electro-galvanizing. The newly plated strip has a final rinse to remove all the chemicals and is polished prior to the preservation and drying process, which protects the finished product from corrosion. The newly plated coils are recoiled, cut, strapped and ready for transport to the slitter or direct to the mills for rolling. The tube forming process starts with the slit coil being placed on the uncoiler, which presents the coil to the mill. The strip runs through a series of forming rolls that form the strip edges into a circular shape ready for welding. An induction welder heats the edges of the coil strip to over 1250 degrees Celsius. The edges are forged together when passed under pressure through the weld rolls to create a welded tube. The raised weld bead on the outer surface is removed with a scarfing tool. The weld is then water-cooled prior to passing through a constant non-destructive test which picks up any weld defects. Once past the non-destructive test, the tube moves to the Turk's head section of the mill. The Turk's head shapes the tube into square or rectangular profiles and straightens the tube to ensure it complies with the Australian standards for shape and size. The tube is heated to approximately 70 degrees Celsius to provide greater paint adhesion and to speed up the drying process. The tube then passes through the paint booth where it is painted red, black or blue depending on customer requirements. Galvanized coated steel is painted with a clear acrylic polymer for added protection. An inline inkjet printer applies a product marking to ensure traceability and to signify that the product meets the Australian standard for structural hollow sections. The tube is cut to size by a cut-off saw which grabs the welded length of tube and travels along to cut it in lengths between 5 to 12 meters. The cut-off saw achieves a tolerance of only a few millimeters while travelling at up to 160 meters per minute. At this point, The tube is moved to an inspection table where an operator completes checks to verify the tube complies with the Australian standards for structural hollow sections. Here, additional quality inspections are undertaken in the bundle and the prime lengths of tube are finally packed and strapped. The finished packs can now be labelled with product details and are ready for the crane to move them into the warehouse. The packs are separated by timber dunnage to allow for easier and safer handling. The finished steel tube and pipe products are then loaded onto the back of road, rail and sea units ready for transport to Orrcon Steel branches, distribution centres or direct to customers Australia-wide.